Dear viewers, welcome to another biology presentation. So this is our lesson 1. So in this lesson, our main focus will be based on grade 10 work. So I'm your presenter, Mr. Mlenga. So let's look at the coursework for grade 10. So we are looking at the topics that we are going to cover for grade 10 work. Our first topic is living organisms and life processes. Our second topic is going to be cell structure and the organization. Our third topic is going to be enzymes. Our fourth topic is going to be nutrients. And our fifth topic is going to be nutrition in plants. And our sixth topic is going to be saprophytic nutrition. Our seventh topic is going to be nutrition in animals. And our eighth topic is going to be respiration. And our last topic is going to be health. So these are the topics that we are going to cover in grade 10 work. So you are welcome, all of you, to JS Learning Academy. So let's now look at topic 1. So under topic 1, we are looking at living organisms and life processes. The subtopic is characteristics of living organisms. So we now look at the specific lesson outcomes. So here we are going to identify the characteristics of living organisms. We are also going to distinguish between living organisms and non-living things. We are also going to describe life processes of living organisms. So let's look at the introduction to biology. So biology is the scientific study of life, organisms, and their vital processes. So biology is a vast field that encompasses everything from the microscopic world of cells to the complex ecosystems of our planets. So let us now look at the key components that are found in biology. So we have cell theory. So cell theory states that all living organisms are made up of cells. A cell is a basic unit of life. We also have genetics. So genetics is the study of heredity and how traits are passed from one generation to the next generation. We also have evolution. So evolution is the process by which species change over time. We also have ecology. Ecology is the study of how organisms interact with each other and their environment. We now look at another branch of biology. We have botany. So botany is the study of plants. We also have another branch of biology, which is zoology. So zoology is the study of animals. We also have microbiology. So microbiology is the study of microorganisms. We also have genetics. Genetics is the study of heredity. We also have another branch of biology, which is ecology. So ecology is the study of relationships between organisms and their environments. We also have physiology. Physiology is the study of the functions of living organisms. We also have anatomy. So anatomy is just the study of the structures of living organisms. So these are the branches of biology. So we now look at why we study biology. So we study biology in order to address global challenges like climate change, diseases, and food security. It is also helps us to appreciate the incredible diversity of life on Earth. So these are the reasons why we study biology. So let us now look at characteristics of living organisms. So we understand that everything around us can be classified as living organisms or as non-living things. So living organisms, we are looking at organisms that have life. For example, animals. We also have plants. We also have microorganisms. So for microorganisms, we are looking at the virus, the bacteria, the protista, fungi, and the algae. These are falling under microorganisms. So we now look at the characteristics of living organisms are called life processes. Okay, so when an organism can carry out the 7 life processes, we qualify that organism as a living what? Organisms. Okay, so living organisms are made of cells, and a cell is a basic unit of what? Life. Okay, so some organisms consist of one cell. So these organisms are called unicellular organisms. For example, amoeba and bacteria. These organisms are called what? Unicellular organisms, because they have one cell. So these single-celled organisms, they have everything that they need to be able to carry out all the life what? Processes. So apart from unicellular organisms, we also have some organisms that have got more than one cell. So these organisms that have more than one cell, these are called the extracellular organisms. Okay, so these extracellular organisms, they are made up of what? Millions of cells. So since they have millions of cells, the cells do not have all the same what? Functions. They only carry out specific functions. So examples of these extracellular organisms, we can look at chickens. Okay, so a chicken is a multicellular organism, meaning that the cells work together to be able to carry out all the life processes. Another example we can look at is a human being. Okay, so this is what unicellular and extracellular organisms are. So we now move on. We look at the characteristics of living organisms. So we have different characteristics of living organisms. There are 7. So the first one is the movement. We also have respiration. We also have sensitivity. We also have growth. We also have reproduction. We also have excretion. So these are the characteristics of living organisms. So we have movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. So when you look at the first 3 letters, 1, 2, 3, they are making Mrs. Then you have GREN. So this is Mrs. Green. So you can come up with this mnemonic to help you to be able to remember these 7 characteristics of living what? Organisms. So we can say the mnemonic is Mrs. Green, where M is movement, R respiration, S sensitivity, G growth, R reproduction, E excretion, and N nutrition. So let us now look at what each of these characteristics of living organisms is. Alright, so let us now look at the first characteristic of living organisms, which is nutrition. Okay, so nutrition is defined as the process of obtaining what? Food. The process of obtaining food is called nutrition. Or we can say nutrition is the production or taking in nutrients, which are organic substances and mineral ions containing raw materials used to produce what? Energy, growth, and tissue repair. So here we are saying, as an organism, for example a human being, need to ensure that they are taking in a balanced diet, okay, which is food, okay, so that they can have energy which will be used for growth and the repairment of what? Of cells. So apart from nutrition, we also have excretion. So excretion is the removal of toxic metabolic wastes from the body of organisms. So this excretion, you find that normally it's the kidney that will be able to carry out some of these processes. Okay, so here we are saying under excretion, we are able to see that some of the toxic metabolic products, they are being removed from the body. Okay, for example, excess water, excess salts, carbon dioxide, all these are excreted out of the body of what? An organism. And we are saying the organ that is mostly involved is the kidney. Okay, so we now move on. We look at respiration. So what is respiration? So respiration can be defined as the chemical reactions that break down nutrients molecules in living cells in order to release energy. So here we are saying that all living organisms, they are able to exchange gases with their environment. So respiration is one of the ways that a cell gains energy to fuel the cell activities. So this is why I find that you have different types of respiration. We have aerobic and we have anaerobic. So in aerobic respiration, it requires oxygen in order to generate the adenosine triphosphate, which is the ATP. So the ATP is just the energy of of life. Okay, so we now look at sensitivity. So under sensitivity, we are saying sensitivity is the ability to detect or sense changes in the environment and to make responses. So what does this mean? This means that you find that there are certain instances, maybe you go and touch a very hot object, for example a pot or a pan. So when you touch that hot object, you are going to sense that you have touched something that is maybe hot. Okay, you have felt the pain. Okay, so that is what sensitivity is. So what you are looking at, you can also give at examples such as a chameleon. Okay, so chameleons are able to change the color of their skin, and they can use this to be able to adapt to the changes that are in temperature and as camouflage to hide themselves from enemies. Also, when you look at a snake also is able to sense danger from different smells. It uses its tongue to be able to gather particles from different smells in the air. So that is what sensitivity is. So apart from sensitivity, we also have reproduction. So under reproduction, we understand that reproduction can be defined as the process by which organisms produce offsprings of the same kind of organisms. Or we can say reproduction is the process of producing organisms of the same kind as the parents. So all living organisms, they produce their young ones. Okay, for example, humans, they give birth to babies. Cats, they produce kittens, and birds, they lay eggs that are able to hatch into chicks. Plants also reproduce, and the plants, they make seeds that can grow into new plants. Okay, then the new plants, they can also grow from a part of the parent plant, like the roots, stem, or leaf. So when you look at reproduction, that's what it is. So we now move on to growth. So what is growth? Okay, so growth can be defined as the permanent increase in size, dry mass, or number of cells over time. Okay, that is what growth is. So all living things are able to grow. Okay, and this growth can be an increase in size or mass. It can also be a change of shape or the development of a different structure. For example, when you look at a flower on a plant, okay, like this, you are able to see that here the flower is small. It keeps on changing its its height, meaning that this plant is able to grow. So we can conclude that growth results in an increase in the number and size of of cells. So when you look at unicellular organisms like bacteria, growth mainly involves the increase in cell size. Okay, then in multicellular organisms like humans, the cells are able to divide and form more cells, and this is what we call cell division. So this tells us that growth is a permanent process in a living organisms. For example, people grow from being a baby to a young adults. So I hope you are able to understand. So we now move on to another characteristic of living organisms, which is movement. So movement can be defined as an action by an organism or part of an organism that changes position or place. Or we can say movement is the ability of an organism to change its position. So organisms are able to change their positions, okay, depending on different factors. Okay, others may change their positions, maybe they are looking for food, or other organisms may change their position because of maybe factors such as wind, or maybe they are being moved. Okay, so these are some of the characteristics of living organisms. So we've now come to the end of our session. Thank you so much, everybody, for having time to view this content. This has been your presenter, Mr. Mlenga. Bye bye.